Are you looking to create designs or presentations for your business? Well, I have the solution for you. It's called the Visme, and it has that right balance of easy to use and powerful. They hit that one out of the park, and in my personal opinion, I think it's one of the best presentations online creator that I have seen. So let's go jump over to my desktop and show you what I'm talking about right now. Okay, this is the Visme site, and if you guys want to check it out, that link will be provided in the description. Now let's go jump over to my Visme dashboard. Okay, this is where you're going to get started, and I do recommend that you get started with my brand. This is super useful. It's gonna pull from your website your logo, your brand colors, your fonts, and all of that. Let me get started with a brand new one. So I'm gonna just start brand quiz, the brand wizard, and I'm going to add my website here. So this is my site, sassmaster.net, and I'm gonna hit go, and it's gonna start reading my website. So it's going to find assets and colors, fonts that are to be used on my brand. So let's give it a few minutes and let's wait. Okay, now it just pulled the data, and these are the logos that it found. So I can scroll through these. These are images that it found. So those are other images that I have on that landing page. And obviously this is the one that I want to use. Actually, yeah, this one's good. Okay, I can go next, and now it's gonna ask me to select your brand fonts. So this one is the one I'm using, Roboto, and it's available. These are other ones that I'm using, but it doesn't have it. But I can go ahead and grab these and upload them. So this one is called Bimber, and this one is Work Sans. In this case, I'll add that one. I'm gonna use Roboto. I'm gonna go next. And now it's selecting colors that I have on my brand. So in this case, I will add this one. Okay, I will add those, and I'm not going to add the blue one and that one. The blue might have got it with one of the posted deals that I have. Now, this is a really hard website to read because it's a sales kind of affiliate page. So it has a lot of brands, a lot of things going on. But if it's a normal website, it's super easy for them. But in this case, it's doing good. And then I have choose templates. So what are more to my type of business that are choose? For example, I have creative themes, modern themes, and simple themes. In this case, I'll select modern theme. Okay, I'll go next and go to my brand templates. And now what it's going to do, it's going to generate branded templates that are likely to be used by my brand. So it's going to have some of my colors, my logo, and stuff that I might need. Right now it's generating it. There we go. It's applying my brand. And you can see this one is already loading the logo, the colors. Let me go ahead and refresh this very quickly. There we go. It's loading the designs. And like I mentioned before, it's grabbing colors from my brand. It's adding logos to some of them. And that's how the brand templates work. Now you can choose from these and just go right ahead and jump into edit, or we can go in through the all templates. So if you're looking for something else that say, you know what, it's okay if it's not with my brand colors, I'll change it later. Well, we can grab one of these, and I actually like this one. This is kind of flashy. Let's go ahead and add that one. Go ahead and edit that. And now here comes the power of Visme. I love the data templates, well, the data assets, the infographics, and all of those, but I'll get through them in a bit. Okay, so what's going to happen if I select one of these elements? I'm going to unlock it, select it, and I'm going to be able to customize it. I'm getting all these options here. Okay, so we have, for example, the color for this, and I have my brand colors, so I can go with something that's green, which is more likely to be used by my brand, or I can use presets and the more palettes. I can also replace this if I like with another shape, and I got the options for shapes. I can also animate it, so I can turn this design into a kind of short video. So instead of keeping it like an image or a presentation, I can also animate this. So for example, if I have this selected, I can fade in. There we go, we're seeing the effect. I can fly from the left, I can fly from the bottom, just whatever I think looks better on my design, I can go ahead and select it. And by that sense, I've just added the timeline. That means there's a little playhead on the bottom, and I can go ahead and play this. I can change more effects for this. For example, the animated add time, for example, 0.8 seconds, 1 second. So I can go ahead and click play. After a second, it's gonna start animating. There's also the animation for exit. and I can go ahead and fade out. And again, I can animate that after X amount of seconds. Okay. Now, what of these can we do? Well, we can align this, for example, top, middle, bottom, left, just depending. It helps you out to position it. So instead of dragging it over there, I could go ahead and do this. Bottom left, bottom middle, etc., or drag it like that. So depending how I want to move this. There's also the effects for this, the opacity, border, if I want to add some border, and then I have the options for border. I have the actions for this. So for example, if I want to convert this into an action where it goes to a website, slide to a page or hotspot. So depending on what I want to do with it, I can do it here in the actions. I can also choose the arrange. So for example, right now you are viewing this behind another element, and I can arrange it. I can bring it forward, I can bring it backward, I can bring it to the front or set to back. So depending on what layer I want to use. There's also the options for the copy style. So if I copy this one, it'll copy that style and I can use it in another one. I can go ahead and clone it and delete it. That's the option for this specific element. Now each one will have different type of animations, options, and all of those. Okay. So for example, right now this one is grouped. You can see here it's grouped. I can go ahead and ungroup it. I'll click away and I'll click inside. Now I have the option to edit the phone and move the phone independently. I can hit Command Z and I can bring it back. I can click on this. I can replace that image with something else that I want. So for example, I can go into photos and what can I use? Let's choose that. Okay, there we go. And I just replaced it. So super easy to use. Now, other things that we can do is let's go into basics. So basics, there's header and text. Now, what I like about Visme is it has a lot of options and flashy options. So you're getting not just the simple like header and text. You're getting other designs here that help you make your design even more powerful. So go ahead and scroll through these, and there's several ones. So let's just say you like this one. Go ahead and select it. Let's get rid of these right here. Let's put this one there. It looks a little bit better, and it already has a nice flashy design to it. We can go ahead and select the other ones if we like. There's also the font pairs. See these? Like I said, it helps you make your design even better. So let's get rid of that one. Let's put this inside of here. And there we go. Just by using those type of assets that they have available, it makes it look even more flashier. So let's close this. There's also the stats and figure. These are super awesome. I love these. Let me remove this right here so we clean that spot. Let me add one of these, and these are pretty powerful. So right now, these are grouped. I can go ahead and ungroup them, and I can change, for example, instead of 50% to 52%, I can change it to another percentage. I go ahead and click on it. Let's right click. Let's ungroup these, ungroup objects. Let me go ahead and select this element, which is the infographic for it. And right now we're viewing a table. This is the percentage for that table. So for example, if I want to move these around, instead of being 3%, I can go ahead and say 20, 60, and 20. Okay, now I've edited these. Now these are the new percentages, and it's being displayed here on this specific infographic. Now all I have to do is change these. For example, if this was 20%, that's what I said on my table, and 60, and I can go ahead and move these around or change the percentages for this. We're viewing here the color that it corresponds to, and we can also change the color to it right here. Now, there's other things that we can do with it. Let's go ahead and select it. Right here on the top, we have the vertical bar. We could change these to a pie chart, a line chart, area, funnel, and donut chart, or more charts. There's several of these available. In this case, we dragged them from the basics. So these are like pre-built infographics for these that you can use, but we have the data ones independently. Okay, but these are super, super cool. Let me go ahead and delete this. Since I ungrouped this, let's go ahead and select them like that and delete. Okay, so there's several of these ones available, the stats. There's also the graphic text for this. So for example, if I add one of these, we have these graphics text. Let's go ahead and delete it. Again, several of these available depending on what you want to do, what type of presentation you want to make, or just whatever you like. Diagrams, several of these diagrams in case you want to make a workflow, a mind map, something like that works out. There's the solid ones. There's the outlines, which I think look more modern, and the null border, depending on, again, what look you want to do, you want to present. Okay, the photo grid, if you want to make these, you add them and then you add photos to these. Pretty simple. The call to action. So these are pretty nice. Like I said before, it helps you make your design even better without a lot of effort. Again, let me close the call to action. There's the My Blocks. In this case, I haven't created any, but you would see them right here. We can create a new folder for these and create the blocks. Now, the graphics. Graphics, you have all these available. Let me go back. There's the line and shapes, which is obviously pretty basic. You got your squares, your triangles, octagons, and all of those available there. And again, you can edit those just like you saw with this green circle. Let me go back. There's the icons, a bunch of icons available. Now, depending on what you want, for example, animal icons, there's 353. You want arrows, there's 391. And depending on what you want, you see them there. There's the 3D graphics. These are pretty amazing, okay? Because they look good and you can edit each one of these colors. So for example, the action arrows, these look pretty nice. They look better than just a plain arrow. So for example, this one right here, okay? Let's drag it in here. Let me make it bigger. And like I said, they look really nice, they look flashy, and we can edit each one of these colors independently. So let me click on the color palette right here. And for this color, I can choose from the presets here. I can go ahead and choose green. The next color, I'll choose something like black. And the last color, I'll choose another shade of green. Okay, just an example there. So like I said, pretty customizable, nice. We can go ahead and flip this if we want to point somewhere else. See that there, right there, flip it that way, and they are 3D. I can go ahead and replace it in case I want to change another one. And again, we got the options for animation, align, effects, actions, and range, all that available. Okay, let's go back, a bunch of arrows here. Let's go back to the actions. Another type of shapes, arrow segments, basic shapes, objects, hands, icons, gestures, so whatever you want to use there. And what I like is that they look really nice. Let's go back. The graphics. We have the animated graphics. So these are icons, but they move because they're animated. They're not simple icons. There's the characters. Again, another feature that I like about Visme. Let me go ahead and delete that. And we can grab one of these characters here. So, I don't know, this guy. Okay, let's drag this guy here. And he's animated. So when we're presenting, there's actual animation during the presentation. Now we have options for these also. So I'll go here in the presets. So I can go ahead and change the color of that person. So dark, brown, light, and turn them blue if you want to make an avatar, I guess, green. But let's keep it like that. And they have the poses for this one. So you saw right now the animation, which is hello. We can do an explaining. Go. Announcement. There's a one that I really like around here. Where is it? The clap, on the phone, angry, sad, waiting, the idea. Well, it depends. They are pretty useful. Okay, choose them when you want. There's the settings for this. The repetition, how many times is he going to move? So for example, if you keep it in one, he's just going to wave once, and that's all. If you keep it repeated, well, he's going to keep on doing it. Okay, speed, if you want to make it faster. It might look a little bit weird, but maybe not, just depending on the look that you want to do. We can play this, we can go back and replay it if we like. We have the played head on the bottom for this and replace. And again, we have all the options for animate if you want to like smush them in from the right, from the bottom, fade in, etc. Okay, let's go back into casual. You have professional, mascots, and bots. So all those are available to animate there. Illustrations, again, animated illustrations depending on what you need. So you have several graphics here that you can use to make your presentations really stand out, okay? So there's the outline, there's isometric, and just depending what you want to use. Let's go back. There's the gestures, special effects, avatars, and shapes, all right? Photos, there's a library with millions of photos that you can go ahead and search here. For example, if you want to search for a cow that you might need, well, you just select it and it's gonna drag it in. Let's drag in this buffalo. There we go, we have a buffalo there. There. So if you need a buffalo, you got it there. So the bunch of photos that you have there. There's the data. These are pretty powerful charts and graphs. So if you want to use bars, vertical, horizontal, these horizontal reflection bar. So if I select one of these ones, see how nice these look? Let me move this over here. Okay, we have that there. There we go. And we have the table for this. So they are easy to edit. So we don't have to manually click on one of these and kind of try to get the shape correct. They are done through here, okay? So for example, these are the years. It could be something else. It could be another, it could be an amount. For example, instead of being an actual year, we can make this $sign because this is about money and not the actual year. So depending on what you want to use it for, you have that there. So I can do, for example, 1983, and it changes over here. And we have the data display. So for this, I can go ahead and switch it to 15, hit enter, and it automatically reflects it on the chart, okay? There's also a really neat feature where you can import data. So we can import data from Google Sheets, Excel, Google Analytics, or SurveyMonkey. So these are pretty powerful. The settings for these, if we want to change the heading, the axis, the legend, the values, and the appearance for it. So back into data, there's several of these available. For example, donut, which is pretty nice. Delete that. Donut is there. If that's what you need in your presentation, well, you have the options for that. Again, we have the import data and the chart for that specific data chart, okay? There are lines, dots, combos, others, and like I mentioned, it's really powerful to create your presentations. Let's go back. We have diagrams here. So if you want to create those mind maps manually, that's also available here. Instead of having the basics where it's kind of built already for you, these are independent, okay? We have, again, let's go back into data. Back, we have tables. So if you need to add a table inside of there, again, let's add the amount of tables that you want. You go big on this, go stretch, 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 or just select a small table. Okay, there we go. We have the table and we can add the data there. Try to do that in another designer. Let's go back. We have maps. Maps again, for example, I don't know, let's go into North America and we have the option for this. I can select the map. I can view or not view any of these maps. I can insert the map. I can add more data to this. So for example, I can add the data for, in this case, it already has the area in kilometers for the data, but it could be another type of data like the amount of women and men in that country or whatever you want to use it for, how many children under 13, etc. Map settings, the color, show borders. If I remove the borders, you can remove that. Show captions over hover, the data. I can insert the map. We have that there. Let's go ahead and present it. Okay, here's the map. See how I hover over this? And we are getting the hover information of the area. If I add the other data from the other row column, well, it's going to be displayed also. So again, try to do that with another designer. And there's other maps here that you can use, or countries, etc. There's also the data widgets, another type of form of displaying data. All these available to choose from. There's a clock, there's a gauge, a lot of these, a thermometer, etc. We have the media, which are the videos. Again, we choose from these. For example, I'll choose that one. Make this big, a little bit bigger. Go. Let's arrange it. Let's move it to send backward again and again and again. There we go. Now it's behind. And it's a video. So if I present this, if I send that presentation, it's actually a video. Check that out. Let's actually change this to blue so it looks nicer. Yeah, that looks better. Just like that. Now remember, I added that animation to be 1 second. I can also change the animation for the titles so they move with the other animation, and I can change the animations to enter and exit. So we have all these videos available that we can search. We have my videos if I upload my own, and there's also the embed option. If you have, for example, YouTube videos and you want to embed it with, again, Vimeo, Wistia, Vidyard, and Loom, theme colors. So if I want to go ahead and just change the whole theme, it's possible. So in this case, it changed all of that. There we go. Go back. And we can add more slides to this. We'll get into that in a bit. There's my files. So these are files that I've used or uploaded, and I have them available here. And I also have the search option. And the apps. This is pretty awesome too, because for example, if I add the video app, it's going to display the video inside of there. I already connected with Jotform, for example. I can connect. I'm going to allow. And my Jot forms are also displayed here. So that means that if I add one of these forms, well, the form is actually displayed there and I can go ahead and use it. So that's pretty cool, right? options. Again, try to do that with another designer. So you have all those options available to add. It's really extensive library of assets, graphics, and all of that, and data charts. Now, if we want to add more here, I can go ahead and animate the transition. I can add another slide. For example, I'll add a new slide, and I have these options available. For example, it could be a blank slide, it can be a title, introduction, company purpose. So depending on what you were working with, well, the next slide will be, I don't know, products and service. Okay, and we have these options available. So let's go ahead and use this one, insert it. And it just inserted it with my template colors. I go ahead and add another slide. And this time I want to add, for example, the metrics. Okay, and have metrics options. I'll insert this one, and I can go ahead and add more. If I want to change the transition, I click on this center, and we have the transition. For example, it's a simple fade. Do I want to use zoom in, enter from the bottom, suggest fade, etc., etc. All right. So you have those options available. If I right click it, there's options to move the slide. I can go ahead and drag it also. I can duplicate it. I can hide the slide, background, and a lot of stuff, right? Let's go ahead and present it again. There we go. It's loading. We have our slide here. It's presenting that one. Go back and present the first one, the third one, etc. It's just a presentation to view how it's going to look. Now, once you have all of this gathered and you like your design or your presentation, it's like, okay, I'm good to go. What can I do with it? A lot of things, okay? For example, let's go into the simple one, download, okay? You like what you made, I just want to download it, JPG or PNG, which is the actual slide that I'm looking at right now. I can select the pages that I want to export for download. I can also send these to a drive. So for example, Google Drive, Dropbox, OneBox, etc. It could be downloaded by PDF with bleed marks, all pages, or just the single one that we're looking at right now. The video, if I want to download it, you have the option for MP4 and GIF. And again, we could, whoops, I didn't want to download it, my bad. Go back into download. Oh, let me cancel this. Okay, there we go. There's also the present offline. You have the PowerPoint or Apple Keynote offline, or the HTML5. If you want to have the full animations there, this is also available. So it's pretty cool that we have all these options to download, okay? But what if we want to share it online without having to download it? Well, we can click on share, and there's several options available here, especially if you want to share this privately, public, team members, and a lot of things. So we have the title for this, description. We can go ahead and go online just by sharing it here. Let's go ahead and do it, okay? We have this published. Here's our link. Go ahead and copy it, incognito mode, open it, and there we go. Someone who doesn't even have a Visme account is already looking at your presentation just by sharing the link. There we go. I can have the options to auto play, auto switch to the next slide, and I'll show you those in a bit. So for example, it stopped. I can go into the next one. There we go. I can see the third one. There we go. Let's go ahead and close this. There's the advanced options for this. We have the appearance, responsiveness, percent view, control bar. Do you want it to loop once it's finished? Autoplay animations, the background for this, the privacy for this, profile, social shares. So if you want to say, you know what, they can't share this, I don't want to display that. Required registration, indexing, download, the sound for this. If you want to add some sound, I can choose my audio right here. There's audios that I've uploaded or audios that they have available. So that's published to the web. All right, pretty cool, right? You can also share this privately. So for example, if you want to invite someone, and you can share the invite, and you have options for this. So they have the option to only view, can't comment. So for example, hey, you know what? I think something, if you want to share this with, I don't know, a client, they can comment and say, hey, you know what? Can you change slide number 2? Or hey, you know what? The percentage is wrong, or a misspelling, or whatever. Or give them the options to edit, but this is team members only. So they have to be a team member, and you give them access to edit, okay? You can also embed this. So if you want to embed this on your website, a presentation from Visme, so it's gonna pull that information from Visme, you can do it from here, and you can also do fixed there. Again, the options that we saw already for this appearance. So you have all those options to download or share straight from here. So it's pretty powerful. If you want to add members to this, so I can do it from here also, clicking on the plus button, and we're gonna see their avatar there once they have been added. So you have all those options on Visme. Now, let's get finished by looking at the templates really quickly, just so you know that there's a lot of templates to go around and choose from, okay? So again, it's going to create. I have the option to create a new project, import from PowerPoint or a new folder. And we have these options to view templates. In this case, let's go into infographics, and it's gonna show me all the templates for this. There's hundreds of templates available to choose from. For example, you look at these really nice infographics. We go ahead and use the search function or select from one of these. Anything you like, you can go ahead and preview this and say, hey, you know what? Okay, this looks nice. And I can go ahead and use it and start editing right away. Again, we have all the options available by clicking on this, on the elements, the icons, switch them, edit them, and we have all the options available. But there you go. That is Visme. Like I said, it's a pretty powerful designer for designs, presentations, especially formatted for businesses. Well, that is Visme. I thank y'all for watching. My name's George. This is SaaS Master, and I'll see you guys later.